So I'm just going to show you a little simple video today how you can debug load functions when you're running in dev mode. Now the nice thing about this is that you don't have to spin up a node process. You can just debug these functions in the browser when you're running in dev mode. So if you want to debug it as a node process, you basically have to set up in your package JSON like so, these files like this, but we'll show you that in another video. But yes, we have to use node inspect. So what we've done, we've added a layout route like this and then a link, and we've also added this route called load. And what we've just done there is added in this load function, which is part of the API you need to use, and need to use context module. And what we're doing here is we're just returning props, which is actually we can have access to any variables and properties within props like so. So what we're doing is we're exporting this thing in the load function, and then we'll just basically render it out like that. Yeah, so let's just see how that works, if that actually works in the browser. So we're into the browser here, we're on the test route, we've got our breakpoint set, and we'll just click on load. And there we go, we're straight into the debugger function like that. And we have this object here, I've called it REQ, but it's got a few properties. Let me just check to see what that is. So I'm just looking at the actual load input here. It's actually like that. So we've got this thing called a page, fetch, and session context. And what they actually normally do is just write it like that. So I think what we'll do is we'll just put it in like what they want. Not using TypeScript, which is one of the reasons that we have to do this. I mean, if you use TypeScript, you can basically specify that as a type, and then you can expect it. But here, we're just doing like this. But we're not actually using them right now, so let's just illustrate that. And basically, what you're actually supposed to reply back with is an output. So we're basically replying with props, but we could have a status there. Normally, if you were doing a load just part of a JavaScript file, that would be an API call. You can return status like 200 successful, or conflicted or error messages. But this is how load functions in the context of a route like so. So basically, if you return props like this, then that's going to render the page. If you return an error like this, then the page will give you an error message, and Svelte will show an error. So for example, if we just took this, copied it in eventually, but I'll just show you this page running in the moment. So we've got this page, and I'm just going to step over this, and it's just going into some of the other debug functions. So we'll just skip over those. So we can see now we're on the load route with the hello world rendered. So if you actually return an error message like so, if we just return that, for example, we can see that there's an error message coming up. Even if we remove that, if we just say it like this, say could like that, then we just see the error message that's rendered by default by Svelte. So in a sense, this is all I want to show in this video. This is how you just debug load functions in dev mode.